Wow, folks, it's again another time, and today, remember, every Saturday on the Comrades Official, it's all about two letters on your alphabets. It's the D and G show, the David and Goliath show, hosted by MWAVALI, Derek Dangote. And today, we're discussing about should Kenyan campuses adopt a dress code. I'm at Ep1 University, where I'm joined by 4 students of the institution to actually elaborate more on this topic, get their views on what they think, whether should Kenyan campuses have a dress code or not. Maybe before we begin, we may get to hear their names, the courses they're pursuing in the campus, and tell us more about themselves. Now, maybe begin from there. What's your name?
My name is Aurelia Kamami. I am pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Pure and Applied Mathematics. And I'm in my third year. My stand on this is I believe there should be no dress code in the universities. Thank you.
Oh, a mathematician in the house. Thank you. What's your name?
Well, my name is Jackson Manasseh Moses, a student at Ep1 University, taking Bachelor's of Arts in History and Archaeology. For me, I believe that we should have dressing code in campuses in Kenya. Thank you.
Maybe on my right. What's your name?
My name is Flavian Mboga, a third-year student here at Ep1 University. I do pursue a Bachelor of Arts in English and Linguistics. And in this, I'm going to talk about there should be a dress code here at Ep1 University.
And finally, I'm Isaac Junior Gazembo Vita. I am pursuing Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy. I believe there should be no dress code in universities. Thank you.
With 4 of our guests, 2 supporting the ideology that Kenyan campuses should have a dress code, and 2 saying there should be no dress code. Let's keep this rolling. Maybe first, there is this saying or adage that goes, address me as I am dressed. Aurelia is saying we should not have a dress code. Now, in Kenyan campuses, we see people coming with beach clothes to class, and back clothes are coming to class. Yet we talk about decency. Do you think that adopting a dress code will bring about this issue whereby if I look decent, I'll be dressed in a respectable way, rather than when I look dressed in a different way?
I think that should be the choice of the person dressing. Yes? You have said the thing that address me in?
The way you're dressed?
You address me the way I'm dressed?
Yeah.
Yes, so I know what I'm dressing as, yes?
Mm-hmm.
That's how I want you to address me. If a girl there is in beach clothes, as you're defining them, maybe that's how she wants to be addressed. You never know.
You're pursuing a course in Bachelor of Arts in Math. Mm-hmm. You're going to be a teacher?
No, I'm going to be a statistician.
A statistician?
Yes.
But now let's talk about the angle of being a teacher. But let's say before you become a statistician, you have to teach a school. Will you go to class with a tennis skirt?
Well, no, I won't. And that's exactly why I should express myself now.
You should
because there will be no other time in my life where I will dress freely as I want, or be free to express myself.
Don't you think that right now, as a student of campus, the institution should rather be teaching you how to dress like a decent teacher, rather than reaching that time is when you're now rushing to start dressing like a teacher?
I think that is very relevant. Yes. You live in campus, you shouldn't be taught how to dress in your work job. No. You already know what you're going for once you start pursuing a course here in campus. If I'm pursuing a course right now to do law, I know that I'll be required to dress as a lawyer in future, right? So I don't need to be taught like, this is how you're supposed to be dressed. Yes, you can be taught maybe in one session or 1 unit, but that shouldn't be the core thing of your studies. Okay.
Before I just come to you dressing as a lawyer, maybe I should get the lady. You say you should have a dress code. Yeah. You're doing a Bachelor of Arts in English and Linguistics.
Yes.
I'm aware if you do a Bachelor of Arts in English and Linguistics, you can do a postgraduate and later do teaching, right? So, should you be taught how to dress like as a teacher while in campus, in that when it reaches the time for you to become a teacher, you are decently dressed? Because I have been in high school. I've seen teachers coming to school dressed shaggily. So, if the campus is to adopt a dress code, I think it will help in this angle, right or wrong?
Very right. And in this case, I personally am also a teacher. And back there in school, you see just a new teacher, a very young teacher coming to school, and the way they are dressed, you wonder, are they coming to class or are they going for sports? Or so one time I had a chance to talk to them, and they were like, but there is no big deal. But the question is, you are now a professional teacher. You are now a person who is working, and in that context, should you dress that way? It means it started somewhere.
Yeah.
And when we look at this here in campus, none of us is even checking how people are dressed. But we forget that this thing is eating us even when we come to that future we call. If I want to take something and I want to do something very great in future, I start it now. So that means for me to become a good professional teacher or a professional lawyer, I need to start it now. I need to begin practicing the action of dressing well, dressing decently. Not only dressing well, because some of them will also tell you that the tennis skirt is decent, but it's not, because it's well to them. But now come here, is it well? Is it decent?
Maybe, Jack, what is the definition of dressing decent?
I think there is no definition that we can specifically say that it is decent. It all depends on which occasion or where specifically are we referring this decency to.
Now, referring to the campus scenario.
When we talk of decency in campus scenario, for me, I believe that we should ensure that we are dressed in a manner that we don't subject our body parts to public domain, because that is very critical, especially when you find a student who is a teacher wearing a skirt which is simply almost how do you call it?
A miniskirt.
A miniskirt, but it's not really a miniskirt, but it's a big belt. I call it
A big belt.
Because they are almost naked. And you ask that person whether are you a teacher already? Yeah, when I'll be teaching, I'll dress well. Meaning they are aware they are doing wrong.
So, once the fact is, yeah, I'll be a teacher, I'll dress well. So, I've already judged myself wrongly. So, I am waiting for that time to dress well. Are we together, my mathematician?
Yeah, I think.
Maybe we should check this on our colleague Isaac. There is, first of all, I think if we come to matters that we should come in campus dressed decently, looking like decent men. Let's take one example of Strathmore University. You can't go to Strathmore University with your hair, right?
Yeah, maybe. Because when you ask, you can't. You're questioning my ability.
You can't,
when you
because
ask,
it's a school rule.
Yes,
It's
you're questioning my ability.
Now, if one university incorporates that rule that in one university you should have short hair,
am I willing?
Are you willing?
Am I willing?
Yeah.
No, not at all. Not
So it
even
will
in
mean
the
you
future.
change your campus?
Not necessarily. Maybe I would just change the ideology. I don't believe that when you adopt a control mechanism over individuals because they are subjected to a certain geographical domain, they should dress in a certain way that you deem decent. I also don't believe that I cannot go to Strathmore University with my hair. I can, I just choose not to. Will I go to Strathmore University with my hair? I don't know the future. Have I? No, I've not. Am I interested? No. Why would I? No. It's not in question. And then I've heard my colleagues talk about one gender dressing in a certain way that is not right, and all that. The idea we are trying to bring to individuals in a campus is that they're supposed to dress in a certain way with certain colors, with ties, looking like whatever, for a reason that is deemed to be decent. I really don't think it's decent to a degree. I think it's some sort of control mechanism that we have the individuals hibernating around here looking like this. It looks like chicken. And then you just take brown chicken, mix them with red chicken, and then you say that the brown ones are more chicken than the red ones.
Okay, fine. Talking
Makes
about
no sense.
us dressing like in blue. But remember in high school, we had a uniform. This uniform actually it made people look presentable, right?
Yeah.
To who?
Second,
To who?
Exactly.
to everyone.
There's no,
Even when the guests will come to visit the school, they will say, by the way, your boys look smart.
my good friend, there is no one called everyone. That's the first thing. The second thing, the idea of dressing in uniforms in high school is because it's high school and then you're in the stage of development. Not that right now you're past the stage of development. It's just that right now you're past the stage of control.
You mean I'm past the stage of control?
Yes.
I think the university has rules.
The university has rules
Are
and
they controlling me?
you are obliged to follow if you want to.
If I want
in
to.
high school, if you do not want to, you leave.
Even
And
in
you're
ca-
not just
campus.
yes, you leave at your own peril, at your own choosing. That's the idea of freedom. In high school, you have no freedom to even choose to leave. You have to dress the way they want because they say it's so, not because you like to anyway.
Now, what if the institution decide, let's have a blue trouser and a white shirt for our uniform?
Then we would ask why.
Why? Because, for example, you have come to school in slides. You need to come to school in shoes. You get it? According to the laws.
Which ones?
Okay.
Because let's say it's a law. Let's say it's a law passed in a university. It's a law, right? Because we have said in high school we used to dress that way because I'm supposed to dress that way. Laws are there to guide us.
Let me tell you
In the absence of law, there is chaos.
That's not true. In the absence of law, there is no chaos because most civilized society, and check this out, most civilized society that were almost dwindling since the dawn of human time initiated laws after laws after laws to regulate our people. You can look this in I heard you quote Fyodor Dostoevsky speaking about lying and why it's important to be honest. He was writing during the time of the Nazis. What were the Nazis for? Remembered for? The badge, right? Why would they put that badge? You do not just censor a group of individuals to dress in a certain way without an ideology behind it. Now, the ideology is what comes with the physical manifestation called the uniform that you deem decent. So the idea of dressing in a certain way because a group of individuals sat somewhere and decided that you should dress in a certain way is true, is a false, is a fallacy. And why is it a fallacy? It's a control mechanism. Why is it? Because it has an ideology behind it that you are not trying to explain to us.
Now, this was the suggestion first. Before I get to Jack, this was a suggestion that we as Kenyan campuses, we are dressing funny. For instance, if I sit there and start checking, kuna mwata kuja na tennis skirt, kuna mwata kuja na dreadi zake chafu, kuna mwata kuja na ragged trouser, mwata kuja na slippers. And yet, when I am to go for a job interview, I'm supposed to dress as decent as I can. So if I am to be taught how to dress from campus till I'm employed, it's something I'll be used to. You get it? It's all about getting used to something, right?
Yes.
See, high school umezoea kuvaa uniform. So you are used to wearing uniform. You just knew if I wake up, I need to be in a school shirt and a school tie. But now in campus, you wake up and you dress how you want.
Now,
What are we trying to portray?
Now, let me give you a few quick answers, few propositions. The first proposition is this. You will not train a group of adults to dress in a certain way. You will only change a group of adults' worldview and ideologies that surround your perception of decency.
Okay.
The only way you can convince a group of people to dress in a certain way is not telling them dress like this, like that, because you're not a totalitarian dictator. You should have an idea that you perpetuate from the time someone is in campus to the time that is supposed to go to work. That is if they want to be employed anyway.
That's according to you, right?
That's not even according to me. You should check. If you want to agree with me or disagree with me, argue with me based on history.
It's okay. Before you
Tell
get
me
to
what
history,
what book, what fable, what story over since the dawn of human time has had individuals being told you shall dress in a certain way and things went good. Kenya had the Kipande system. What happened to the Kipande system?
if I may say this, going back to history, for instance, apart from campuses us initiating the idea that we are not actually saying that we should wear a uniform, okay? This is not the topic of discussion. The topic of discussion is we eliminate some kind of cloth worn in campus.
Then that is not the problem of the campuses is the problem of the designers. Ask the designers to eliminate the design.
I like how we are doing. But I'm trying to understand whether we are misusing freedom, the purported freedom in campus, because my friend just said that back in high school there was no freedom to choose, right? So you are now in the platform of whereby you can choose what you need to do.
Yeah.
So are we really doing it the right way, or we are misusing the freedom? Because when you talk of the choice of your dressing code, nobody has told you to dress like a pastor, like you just said, of a tie and some sort of I don't know how. But then what we are trying to talk about today is, can we really try to moderate the way
We are
some
dressing.
dresses and maybe the attires some boys and girls do wear? You know, you find a man wearing a ragged, almost the thighs out. You wonder, what do you really want to show as a man? A man walking with a tight. You wonder, really, are you going to be a father anytime?
Yes, sure.
That is what we are intending to talk about in campus. We are not really necessarily doing it to maybe say, let us wear a blue trouser. No. I mean, again, if we do that, it's possible, because look at the KMTC way.
Yeah.
Are they not comfortable?
They're not complaining.
We have campuses like let me talk of
Strathmore.
Strathmore. There is
Zetech.
this one. There is this the Catholic one. How do you call it?
Kenya Methodist.
The Kenya Methodist. Talk of MKU. They did recently. They are restricting some sort of dressing code. So I think it's possible if we apply this to all the campuses in Kenya.
Oh. Now maybe Aurelia.
Yes, please.
I can see you are in a ragged trouser. It's one of the things that is being. So
I think what we are trying to avoid here, all of us, because we are kind of saying one thing. Dressing is a subjective thing.
yeah,
okay?
yeah, true.
My kind of decency is not your kind of decency.
Okay.
And what we are allowed to do here in campus is express ourselves. That's what you should understand. So, because even if you bring a uniform, seriously, even in high school, I remember people still chopping off their skirts to what you're calling belts, right? That wouldn't still bring any cost out of control here.
But actually, back in high school, there was this. Okay, I don't know if it was in your high school, but in my high school there was this law. If you come to school in a piped trouser, it's torn. You have to get a new trouser.
Yeah, there were
Now there is the school gate, right? Okay, all campuses have a gate. You remember what happened in Moi? Ukifika gate, you have not dressed decently, you go back home. You get it? To just bring this notion that let's be well dressed.
Who is choosing this, the right and the wrong way? Who chooses it's actually right and who's wrong?
Okay.
Who's choosing that? Because even if you stop them here, you still go out and meet people dressed that way. What are you going to do to them?
That's outside. That's outside the school premises.
Yes,
but
you're
inside,
fighting people.
why?
They're probably the same people that you're fighting with here inside.
Okay, I'm fighting with them. Okay, this is the idea. The cloth that you should wear while going to the beach, kindly wear it going to the beach. But when coming to class, let's come to class looking presentable. From Monday to Friday, if you check, you can't get a teacher going to school with a biker short. Neither can you find a president going to a public function in a jeans, right?
Yeah.
You are a student coming to class. Why should you come to class in a tennis skirt that should be used by the cheering squad in a World Cup?
That's according to who? That's the thing that you're not answering.
It's
according to who?
It's according
Because, the
to.
president and whoever, they're limited by their profession.
Okay, fine. If your mother, I'm very sure in campus, let's say this for a fact. In campus, if our parents are to come, I'm very sure they'll pass some of us in these highways.
They will?
Pass. They just, like, back at home you're used to dressing in a respectable way. Jumama ako na dad. Ukikuza company freedom, as you guys say, it's freedom.
Allow them. And you want to close them here too. You know what you're not understanding is, everybody has what he was trying to say. Everybody has a different ideology as to why they dress. Something inspired you so that you dress like that, okay? And this is how you felt like expressing yourself today. And there is absolutely no problem with that. I have no problem with that. Nobody else has a problem with that. Why would you have a problem with somebody else doing the same thing with their own clothes?
Okay, I'm very grateful with how this discussion is ongoing. But just a question. if we are expressing ourselves, which is very right, but as you are expressing yourself, what are you speaking to the world? That's the question. Okay. And the other thing is, let's try and come to the reality. After you've done your course or your degree, you are out there, you will have to subject yourself to a rule. Why can't you now choose when you are out there? Why is it that here is where you want to say, I'm expressing myself? Why can't you express the same way as you are out there?
It's the same thing I'm saying. When we move out of here, we're going to meet limitations out there. This is the only place where you get to be as free as you want. So why not do it here? You'll get limitations afterwards. Did you see this case of the lady who was sent out of the house because I think it was in Siaya of the MCAs?
Yeah.
Yeah, she entered the house with a sleeveless dress or something.
Yeah.
You had that story.
Yes, I did.
So, you know, closing down people here will actually lead to as many cases as that later in life.
Okay, that is the genealogy that many people have it in their minds. And there is this thing which when we were in primary, we were told that if you don't do these things now, you will do them in future. So that thing has been planted into our minds. So anything we are doing, even when you go out there, you ask those who put on in a very funny, the clothes for the bar, you go and ask them. They will tell you, let me do this now. I want to do them in future. But what you cultivate it today, you will simply sow it.
It's actually, it's proven. It's proven.
Maybe let's
It has
see.
happened in history.
It has happened in history, but it is in the minds of people. Right now, the new young people are being born, and they come and people are telling them, this is what is happening. If you don't do it now, if you don't enjoy now, you will do it in future.
You're pretty
So,
offended by right now seeing a girl of our age in a skirt that she wants to wear. How would you feel if you saw like now an 80-year-old woman doing the same thing?
It's okay. Maybe let's listen from Isaac. See, you are so disturbed. Maybe you can tell us.
What is disturbing me actually is the idea that the way you dress here will be how you present yourself to the outer world.
Yeah, because I'm too okay. When you appear, let's say for example, I'm seated here. I see you from there. I'll first judge you with how you're dressed. That's according to most humans, right?
Exactly, and that is indisputable. But you know the adage that goes, do not judge a book by its what?
By its cover.
Precisely. So why would you judge a book by its cover based on, if you know that, if it's true? If you accept the idea that if I'm dressed in a certain way is indecency, why would you not accept the idea that by judging me before knowing me is also indecency?
Okay. Do you think it's right? Do you think it's right?
Let me just respond to a few things. Let me just respond to a few things.
Yes.
You said that you don't need to dress colored and what have you. You're supposed just to dress in a certain way. So let's assume that the university says that we should put on checked shirts, maybe white collar, whatever, with the tetron trousers, and for ladies do the same, what have you.
Yeah.
Why would the universities initiate that? Is the big question. Why would they want to do that?
Allow me to respond to that because it's really funny. The reason as to why they should do that, they are just trying to limit some kind of distractors during sessions. For instance, you find a class is ongoing, then someone is coming in some clothes like a night dress. Do you think they concentrate on a lecture?
Now that's
they cannot.
Now you I cannot answer for that person, and that an analogy is indubitable because
So let me answer you. You said you're becoming a what? A historian.
you come with a night dress.
He's an
So assuming like
archaeologist.
maybe that an archaeologist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe in your place of work, you have a client or something, and she comes dressed in what you presume to be indecent. Are you going to chase her out, or what's going to happen?
No, those are circumstantial analogies. That is why I don't think they apply here. Why? Because they are all based in the mind. There is a way. I'll say this respectfully. She's a lady. There is someone that looks at you and she finds you attractive, and also the same person looks at her and finds her revolting. Right? So it's all in the mind. So the analogies are all circumstantial. They cannot be answered pragmatically.
Okay.
The point I'm making is this. If the university says that you're supposed to dress in checked shirts, whichever kind of trousers, like in high school, you can choose whichever color because it's decent, why would they want to do that precisely? It is not only decent, it is also controlling. Tomorrow, they'll say, for you to come into campuses, you really have to make a line from the gate. If you don't come at 7 a.m. with your whatever dress code, you will not come to school. It's preposterous, because it's small things that lead to great things. The bread comes into the bread. Why would we allow the university to dictate our dress codes?
Okay. Maybe maybe I think this conversation cannot end right now. Okay? Maybe if I may ask a question to Jackson and to our lady who is saying we should have a dress code. Don't you think it's also right, like, you address your choice?
Okay. You address your choice.
Yeah.
It is a saying that is being said by many people.
Thank you. A saying.
And,
it's a saying.
Yes, it's a saying which is said by people.
But is it logic?
It's not.
Why?
Why? Because the reason why I'm saying it is not logic is we've given people the freedom. And people are misusing the freedom. That is the first thing.
Okay.
And now when we bring in my dress, my choice, that is why you find people coming to class and even the lecturers wonder, because my dress, my choice.
It's okay, so it's your dress, your choice. Maybe Jackson. Shouldn't these people just be told, okay, it's fine, your dress, your choice. You are a grown-up, you are above 18, you can think for yourself, your mind is all reasoning, you know what you're doing. I'm a grown-up, I know what I'm doing, right? In high school, I'm a kid. I have to be told what to do. Don't you think it's about...
I think, yes, my dress, my choice. But remember, you are not excluded from the consequences of the choices you are making.
Yeah.
In this context, we are not necessarily telling you to choose on what to wear on campus. We are just trying to tell you that whatever you are wearing in campus premises is actually distracting others. That is why we are just trying to bring in some rules and regulations so that we bring order and maybe some decency across the university.
Wow. I don't know. I don't...
The things that are distracting you in campus, maybe you shouldn't be here because I mean,
clothes-
much bigger things,
EG. Okay. A topic for another day. Topic for another day. I think this cannot end here, and maybe we'll get to discuss more of these as time goes by, because there is that idea that indeed we should have a dress code. There are those believing that we need to look decent, but there are those who believe that it's my dress, my choice, my way. I'm a grown-up. Let me dress the way I want. I'm not a kid anymore. So for these and many more to come.
Maybe just to add something very small.
Okay.
Is this. Even as we are doing this analogy that people to dress the way they want, people need to understand that as they are doing that, there are repercussions which will come thereafter. Okay. So when we are saying that we are going to dress the way we want because it's freedom, even when we get out there, you will be under someone. But the way you presented yourself now, why is it that people are now lacking jobs? And we've never asked ourselves why people are lacking jobs. People right now go to social media. They get to know the real person who you are. And that's why some people, they get their letters and they are not being responded. Why? Because there is something these HR, they are looking for. They want to get people who will bring quality in the job market.
Okay, maybe I'll ask you, but I'll not want a response. But maybe quality is not defined by dressing. Maybe, Isaac, as we conclude this discussion, what's your last remarks on matters to do with the dress code?
I believe that every human being that is above adult age is rational and can make their own decisions, and that when you make your own decisions, you should be up for its consequences. However, it is not in the purview of any authority to decide for you what is right and what is wrong. Because of your rationality, you should act in a way that is acceptable. And the idea that you're protecting other people's eyes from being distracted because of how you're dressed is a fallacy. Why wouldn't they protect their eyes from what I'm dressing?
Thank you. Maybe Jackson, as we conclude this, what is your, you said you should have a dress code. What is just your last remarks? Should they adopt it or it should just remain the way it is?
Thanks again for this last opportunity to make some remarks. For me, I believe and I hope that someday all universities will impress the dressing code in the university level. Why? Because when we will have this, we will have some sort of uniformity within the school premises. I'm actually not saying people should not have their choices of dresses. Let them have their choices out there. Like within the university gate, can we just have it some order?
Wow.
You know, one man said that if you want to be a doctor, then behave like one. You can't say I'm going to be a doctor in the near future and you are behaving like a shoeshiner. No, it's not possible.
Thank you. I should behave like a doctor. Aurelia, should you or should you not?
Should I or should I not? I believe that having a dress code shouldn't be imposed again on adults because that's not right. That's not right at all. Yeah.
Thank you. I think with that remarks from Aurelia Kamami, we wrap up our show for today, but stay tuned for the second part of this will come. We'll have now to get to the streets and listen to these people. Maybe they have other ideas. It was an idea of the four of them today seated here. I've been your host for today, MWAVALI, Derek Dangote. Keep it Comrade officials and keep it every Saturday. For the comrades, till we meet again, have a nice day.